What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight, the Descendants are back after a 2 week hiatus. Scott, what's up, man? How are you? How was Hollow Weekend?
Oh, it was good. I am doing well. I'm glad that it's starting to get warm. I have my Christmas tree up. You can't see it. Actually, I'll just
Nice. I saw the Christmas pillows in the background.
Christmas
Nice.
pillows. Yeah, I got the whole setup now. I'm a quick turn from Halloween to Christmas immediately.
So are we. So are we. We had it up this past weekend. We started decorating the
That's
trees all up, all the ornaments. It's a fun time, man.
I did the same this weekend.
Yeah. Scott, we missed a lot in the past two episodes. Three people have been eliminated from the game, and we're getting down to, I think it's final five at this point. Kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
it is. I feel like I mean, it's only been 2 weeks since we've talked, but so much has happened in recent game. I'm like watching, I'm like, we're gonna have so much to discuss.
We really are. And the week that we missed, we see one of I think well, at least one of my favorites. I don't want to speak for you, but maybe a fan favorite, Lee, go out here in I think he was the eighth placer, if I'm not right, if I'm right. Um, and it didn't really make sense to me for this lead boot. What were you thinking when that happened?
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of stuff happened. Well, first of all, Sam just unstoppable in this challenge. The flipping of the papers wasn't really close in any of the rounds. And
Were you
then
surprised? Were you surprised with that? Because I thought Andrew would be the front runner in this one with the long limbs. People were mentioning it.
I Sam had a nice little hop strategy, flipping two at a time. So I think that sometimes whenever you're the front runner, you get outthought because I think going into it, Andrew should have won, but Sam had to like think about how he could beat Andrew. Relied on just being the better of the two, but I think Sam put it out. But they both won, so it didn't
Yeah.
really matter in the long run. It didn't really impact too much of the strategy of either one of them. But yeah, Sam undefeated. I don't know if we wanted to talk more about that because this one was. I feel like this round was there are so few people that you could vote off, and I feel like that's kind of where Lee kind of got stuck
Yeah, it's
because
interesting. Uh, there obviously was a challenge in between this, right? I'm blanking on what it was. It's been 2 weeks. Okay, guys.
yeah,
So
it's
so
this was the Todd Herzog.
yes, yes, yes.
I can't remember pop socket. Was it not a pop socket? Something pop. I can't remember
Funko
what it was.
Pop, Funko Pop,
That's it. Yes, I knew it
Pop
was pop.
Socket.
That's the
That's
back of your
something.
phone. That's the back of your
Yeah,
phone. The thing you hold on to. I knew it wasn't right, but I was like, it's pop. My little soda pop. Like, I was like, I don't know where we're headed, but but no, I thought that was really cool that we saw a little Survivor contestant
yeah.
popping in. I did not. That was a blindside. I was like, is that Todd?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see. And I don't know the link to his shop, but you could probably find it on the actual Ascendance video. So go take a look
Hmm.
and buy some Funko Pops.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, cool challenge.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was almost like the telephone challenge, which we did that this season previously already. Yeah, and I don't like that one because I know I'd be bad at it. So I feel like I would have stood a better chance in this one. So I think this one over the regular telephone one.
What role would you do in this one? Would you be the drawer, the person who tells you what to draw, the person who tries to find the drawing?
Tries to find the drawing.
Yeah,
I'm great at taking directions.
yeah.
Actually, I'm okay at taking directions, but I would not a good drawer, and I'm not a good memorizer.
And I guess whoever was on Maddie's team was not a good drawer either because they lost. Am I right?
Wow.
Yeah, they lost. I don't think they got any right, which is tough.
Surprising. Yeah.
But so they're going to the challenge. They're going to the elimination. So at this point, there's only five people, and the two captains that are safe, which is Sam and Andrew at this point, and then we have Maddie, Lee, and Antoinette. That's right. Yeah. Um, so for me, it's like I feel like Lee and Antoinette were so close throughout the entire game, and then it just seems so easy for Antoinette to say goodbye to Lee.
Yeah, it feels like that's what we've been talking about every week in our podcast is how tight they are. But I think in the grand scheme of things and looking at Antoinette's position in the game, I in actually a pretty tough spot to win the game because I think if she does go to the end with Lee and Reynolds, she doesn't win. But now that she's had to turn on Lee to kind of get herself and sitting in a really good position to make it to, I think she's going to have some difficulty getting votes, especially if Lee holds any animosity toward her for getting him out, which I don't really know. I could see Lee going either way. I could see him being mad at her for voting him off and then holding some animosity, but I could also see him being like, "You had to do it, and like I'm proud of you." I don't really know Lee well enough to have a good gauge as to which direction he'd head.
Did you think in his exit, or like the moments leading up to it, him kind of understanding what's going on, did you feel like he was hurt by her in any capacity here?
I think for sure you're always going to be a little bit hurt, but I think for him, he was so driven on winning, and I think the emotion came more so in the realization of the ending of a dream. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't getting out of it. They had been pretty forthright about where they were sitting, so just the moment you know that you've lost, and there really wasn't anything you could do at that point. It's
Yeah.
to kind of decided that that isn't what this isn't the direction they're heading. But then actually, Antoinette voted for Maddie.
Yeah. Lee does
So,
the last ditch effort to fake a pendant. He does
well,
the old
before that, he
I
reveals. I think that revealing that he knew about that alliance actually hurt him more. I think Andrew even said it in the episode. And the revealing he was, well, I think Andrew was mad at Monty for telling Lee, which I don't know why Monty told him. I feel like we're missing a lot of things that are
context.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I was like, why would Monty tell him that? I feel like Monty's tightest with Andrew, I thought. And then in the next episode, I feel like Monty's only trying to work with Reynolds. And I'm just like, where are the lines here? Because I'm unsure.
Ascendance, it's a fast-flowing,
Yeah,
adaptable game. People are just moving from one person to the next, you know, it's kind of crazy.
fluid. Fluid Monty. I'm just unsure what the plan was for that. And then in Lee telling him, I think telling them that he knows about that, I think Andrew's looking at it as like, well, if Monty's this tight with Lee, then it makes a lot of sense to vote him off here. So I think that while he was trying to utilize that as a last ditch effort, I think it was kind of more of the nail in his coffin. And
Um,
then
yeah,
and then the pendant, the hidden pendant. You can't pretend that you have a pendant without showing it.
yeah. And Maddie calls him on it immediately. He's like, "Can we
Like,
see
let's see
it?"
it. And he's like, no. He's like, okay. You gotta like, I feel like in that position, you leave it in your pocket, you like let someone see the bulge, and then you just pretend like you're safe. And but I think that he was already way too emotional leading up to that, that he couldn't have pulled it off unless, I mean, for, foreshadowing the Reynolds moment in the episode,
Uh,
but unless he had the pendant to show, he had already shown too much emotion to kind of get away with a bluff of pretending like he has something.
I wanted to ask you specifically for Antoinette. We kind of discussed her position in this vote, but for the people, like we have the ability now to have seen the next episode. So
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting that we can go back to this move and see, you know, do we think this was the right move? Um, what do you think of Andrew here? Do you think this was the right move for Andrew?
I yes, because I think that it ultimately should have set Andrew up to be in a better position, but a lot of things happened in the chaos of the next episode that just really unraveled. And it actually goes back to what I had said in a previous round and Andrew not utilizing his relationship with Sam and talking about that half pendant that really came to bite him. And it was kind of devastating. He just like collapses onto the bed. But we'll get to that in the next episode. But I think that I think this was the right move for Andrew in the moment, but obviously so much happens in the next round that I mean, at a certain point there wasn't really much Andrew could undo in the next round, but I think that getting Lee out was ultimately going to set Andrew up for a better position.
Yeah. It's, it's tough to see Lee go. Was rooting for him hard. He brought the entertainment. I'm not gonna lie. The
Mhm.
hinky votes, they were getting a little redundant. Let's be real. They were
Yeah.
getting a little redundant, but
I
he
love
he
the shocked
brought
faces when he revealed that he was he's like I was the hinky voter. Everyone's like
yeah.
gasp.
Yeah. Yeah. But such a strong game. So kudos
Mhm.
to Lee. And so now we're in this next phase, right? We're in the individual phase. It came kind of late this year, I feel like. We
Yeah.
were at final seven. Now we're doing the co-captain twist, which is always fun. And this next episode of this past week, we get a double, a double dip here with two people
Yeah.
going home. So it was a lot, but luckily I did watch it literally today, so it's fresh in the mind.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened, and I feel like the chaos of the first round really overshadows the second round. But I mean, we have a lot to discuss. The
We have a lot
first
to
round.
discuss. And I think you alluded to it right off the bat. I think this was, Andrew, we didn't really know much about, where his loyal we knew where his loyalties lies, but like I feel like he didn't really have the big presence on in the confessionals or on the screen. And I feel like this was his episode. I mean, he ultimately
Mhm.
does get eliminated here, but a lot going on with Andrew. Bad decisions, good decisions, mostly bad though.
Mm, I don't know if they would like uh, yes, he made good decisions. Yes, he made bad decisions. But I think that a lot of the undoing in his game were the bad decisions of other contestants that like he
Right.
really didn't have much control over in the moment. And as he's like this things are like hitting him, he's just like, what is going? Why?
Yeah.
So many things, and unfortunately, every bad decision I feel like other people were making was immediately impacting him. And I know that we get a confessional from Reynolds and like again bearing the lead, but once Reynolds found that the pendant, which we'll discuss because I feel like that was a bluff.
Yeah, it definitely was. I had to go back and make sure what we saw was what happened. But you're alluding to him having that was a conditional
Yeah,
pendant,
the
right?
pendant of protection.
Yes, yes.
So
So he
he was
had to.
able to really utilize
Yeah,
showed it that said pendant. Antoinette saw it and he moved on. So he played that perfectly. Obviously, he wouldn't have been able to save himself with that power. But I think once he did find that and knew that he was getting traction to get the vote off of him, he doubled down and leaned in because he knew that he wanted to get Andrew out. And Reynolds was able to utilize the chaos in that moment to get people to do everything that he needed him to do. So I think that while the bad decisions other people were making started stacking against Andrew, it was like dominoes, and Reynolds was the one that like picking them up and putting them in the place to like hit them over to knock him out.
So, I mean, we have to talk about the bad decisions that were made immediately after. I don't understand the reasoning. I don't know why this happened, but it seems out of panic, Sam just gives over his half pendant to Reynolds in a an emotional kind of knee-jerk response to. I don't even know why he does this. Did you make any sense of what he was doing here?
We explained it a little bit whenever he was talking to Andrew because he was basically saying like I will give you this if you save me. I'm assuming that Sam didn't know that Maddie was going to save him. Maddie wins the Scrabble challenge,
Mhm.
says everyone tells everyone that he's going to save Sam, but maybe Sam wasn't privy to that information. So whenever Sam's having the discussion with Reynolds, as an act of trust and good faith, he gives him this. And like later when he's talking to Andrew, he says that it was really his only move because, as far as he knew, the other half of it already went out of the game with Marshawn because that's what Andrew told him. And so Andrew was like, that was a mistake that I didn't know that I was making back in the time. But as far as Sam's concerned, this is just a necklace that has no power at all because the other pendant's gone. So the other half of it's gone. So why not just do a little Hail Mary and give it to him? So obviously we know and we knew and they found out that that's not the case. It seemed pretty immediately and I could just feel the air get sucked out of the room whenever he was Andrew's like, I have the other one, and Sam just like like nothing he could say, like speechless.
A couple things to jump off there with Scott. Do you think that Sam, I don't know if we see it, but do you think that Sam was aware of that, the power of Reynolds, power of the pendant or protector, whatever it's called?
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think anyone knew about that until after the round was over.
Yeah. Because he asks him to play that on him. So I'm just wondering, did he
Oh
really
yeah,
think? Uh,
maybe.
it's tough to
But
tell.
I don't think so though, because everyone was talking about how Reynolds was going to play it on himself. And I don't
Yeah.
think that if
Yeah.
if Sam knew that, everyone would know that. Sam's not really the type to keep the information very, very secure. I think that Sam needs to find a partner in these games that's more socially aware because he was giving up so much. And I love that Sam's always going to try to make a move, and I mean, he'll take the risk, but I just don't think that he always is. He's not making the right risks. He's just. I just don't think that he has the social awareness of what's going on as much as he should to be making these taking these chances. He needs someone to be like, "Love the idea. Let's maybe not do that though." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so like giving up the half pendant, maybe not. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
And again, I understand he thinks it's useless, but you never know. And what is it?
Yeah.
Fuck around and found out. Find out. He found out. He fucked around and he found out.
So Andrew comes into the room with Maddie and Sam, and he goes, he knows that he's in, hot water at this point, and he goes to Sam, and because he knows Sam had the half pendant, and he says, save me if you want. I know I'm in trouble. I have this half pendant, and now he's aware that he's already given the half pendant to Reynolds. So you mentioned it. This is kind of Andrew's fault in the first place because he put a rumor that Marshawn had taken the half pendant out with him. And you also said the scene where he kind of just flops on the bed in, disbelief. But what I mean, Andrew, at this point, he's now going to push Antoinette's name. And this was a fun episode for Reynolds because Reynolds calls him
Mm,
out publicly in front of Antoinette. I feel like this
yeah,
is the
just kind of the sequence of things. Like Andrew goes to Sam and it's like, I need the other half. You can save me if you want to. And Sam's like, I can't. Like, let me go attempt to get this back. And then the conversation with Reynolds and Sam, tough one for Sam too. I don't think in the moment he realized what was happening, but whenever Sam goes to Reynolds and Reynolds says, I have the other half. And then take a moment, don't reveal information if you don't have to, Sam. And Sam just goes, I know you don't have it because Andrew has it. And then in my head, I'm like, Sam, Reynolds is never back to you. Ever. Never giving it back to you whenever it enters the game. Like, I'm just going to give them a free pendant. That's the guy I want to take out. Well, I also thought it was humorous when Reynolds was like, no, I'm not giving it back to you before any of that. And then he tells him
yeah.
that, and it's like, I now know. Like, absolutely not. And the only reason you want it back is so that you can give it to your friend Andrew so he can save himself. No, Sam, I'm not going to do that because then what? Am I going to vote off one of the girls like who are trying to work with me? So then everyone comes out, and then of course Reynolds sees another moment to just throw Andrew under the bus again, and he's like, "Well, I heard he's saying your name, Antoinette," and Andrew's just like can't say anything. There's not a lie. He said everyone else that you can vote for is right there, and so she's just like, "Well, I would really appreciate it if you didn't do that."
Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's just one liner after one liner. And it was so fun to watch, but I can't imagine like every single person that you put yourself into was feeling a different emotion in that moment.
Throughout all of this too, I noticed that Monty just thought he was going to be voted out like the entire
Every
time. I
moment.
was like, this guy.
an explosion of everything, and then I feel like it's later. Molly's like talking to him. He's like, "I heard it's still me though," and they're like, "That was 4 hours ago. Like, it's not you, man."
Yeah, it's
He still
crazy.
throws his bone.
It's so crazy. Um, yeah, the Sam trying to ask for the half pendant back was just
Oh,
Reynolds, I mean, he had him there. It was so good. It was
it
so
was so good. Reynolds played it. It was such like I mean, it was such a villain arc moment, but it wasn't like a like sometimes in the confessionals you like Lee really was leaning into the villain moment and that was just Reynolds being Reynolds like but it was just like such like a sweet, savory survivor villain moment. He's like, "No, I won't be giving it back." Like that's what we look for.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely yeah, definitely fun episode from Reynolds. And then did you catch, Andrew what Andrew says on his way back into the house?
Oh, that was painful too.
Yeah, yeah, tough.
That was I mean some things are better left unsaid. I guess everyone just wants to tell Andrew all these little it's like keep it in. Oh,
Yeah.
that was. I guess it was. You get the full moment of it whenever Andrew does get voted off, and he talks a little bit more about it. But I was like, oh, that's a bad look. And then Reynolds immediately just going, "Well, I already have a boyfriend." Just bury him. Like, what is it? Salt in
Yeah.
the wound.
This guy can't catch a break. So yeah, a mess all around. Andrew is the one that ultimately does get eliminated here. Um, and he, has this speech about, being so happy to play, blah blah blah, and then he has the decision on who to give the half pendant to. Um, and he ultimately gives it to Molly. We're shocked with this. He said he had two people in mind. Was he thinking about giving it to Reynolds? Was that the other person? I
I think
was kind of
Sam.
confused. Sam? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um,
That's another relationship that I feel like we didn't get to see fledged out as much as it obviously was. Again, Molly is really, really just set up nicely. She's in cahoots with pretty much everyone, it seems.
yeah.
I don't know how she hasn't gotten clocked about that yet, to be completely frank.
I mean, there's so much shit going around, like all over the place that I feel like she's able to kind of just take a step back and be calm. And
Quietly,
that's,
everyone's number one. Because
yeah,
for Andrew to give it to her, Antoinette and her obviously super tight. Her, Antoinette, and Maddie, one, two, three, final three. Here we go. At one point in the episode too, so I feel like Molly is kind of just coasting to the end.
right.
But my concern with her is that she's not going to have enough points that are going to be looked at as her own to win the game. I think that sometimes whenever you're in with everyone, everyone's a little bitter.
Yeah,
That like you said, I was your number one, but I wasn't, and
yeah,
so I think that Molly might get caught in that if I almost will say if and when she makes it to the end. She's giving me Amanda Kimmel. She
yeah,
seems like someone that's going to make it to the end almost every time, but then she's so emotional, and I feel like sometimes people don't love to see all the emotion in the gameplay. They want to see a little bit more cutthroat, and I mean Molly's playing a really stellar game. She's
yeah.
sitting so pretty. But I think that people might be a little bit more bitter because it's like the mother role. It's the person that you like the most that like if you kind of like me but you love Molly and me and Molly vote you off, I'm probably gonna get your vote over Molly because you're so mad at her and you don't really care that I did it because you
Yeah,
expected it. So I feel
yeah.
like that might catch up to her.
Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting. She is playing, I mean, probably the best social game at this point throughout the
I would
season.
say,
Like it's almost flawless.
yeah.
Um, but there's also her and Antoinette, there's a lot of kind of carryover between relationships and, social connections too. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I do think Antoinette's playing a really, really great game too. But I think Antoinette's really leaning into the people aren't looking at her as a threat. Like the Maddie and Lee vote last, like the episode before, I feel like Antoinette's name didn't even get mentioned, and there were only
Yeah.
three people you could choose. So that's wild that it just never went that direction. Maddie and Lee were basically like, we're gonna have to go after each other.
Yeah.
I mean, why not vote out Antoinette? There was just never neither one of them wanted to do it. So if you're that in cahoots and like aligned with people, you're obviously doing a good job socially.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the other thing that we have to talk about is Reynolds with the bluff,
Hmm.
a class A bluff here with
Yeah.
the pendant of protector.
Yeah.
Look,
It's
he, you
I don't
know,
want to
he,
no spoilers, but Australia versus the world poverty play. It's kind of
oh,
similar.
I don't think I made it to that. So,
Oh, well, I won't reveal anymore, but you know.
okay.
But no, it was terrific bluff, and I think obviously the moment whenever they're like, "Does anyone want to play it?" He was just like, "I'm good." And then
How?
got he got Molly to give up the pendant. I think that
Yeah.
that makes sense to me because Reynolds is like, I'm thinking the conversation went like this: Molly, I have no one here. You obviously are working tightly with Antoinette. I will give you this if you give me the other pendant. We'll both be protected. We both will be able to protect someone. That's the only way that I feel like she would give that up.
You would think. You would think. But I don't think that that's how it went down. I could be wrong, but I think he bluffed it into her possession
So she didn't know until
until
he gave
he
her up.
gave her
I
the
could
physically.
also see that.
But before we get into that, did you think he was going to play that? Well, obviously we now know that what the power was, but did you think he was going to play the pendant?
Well, no. To be honest with you, I didn't know that it was a pendant of protection until
Yeah.
the next episode. So whenever I was watching it the first time, I was like, he's done enough that he doesn't need to play that.
Okay.
And obviously he couldn't, but I never thought that he was going to play it for who was he going to play for Monty? I don't
No,
remember who he was saying,
I
but
was
I knew
just
that he wasn't going to
thinking,
play it.
did you think he would play it for himself in that moment, not knowing that what it actually was?
No, I did. I thought that he had done enough.
Yeah.
The chaos that had happened, I feel like he had maneuvered it in a way that he didn't need to play it.
He does end up getting a vote from Andrew. He stays true to his word. And then we get the exit about, if this was The Bachelor, I'd give you my rose or whatever. Uh, but any comment on that?
Oh, it was, oh, no, it was just it was a little painful to watch. It's
Hey.
just like he's got a boyfriend. I did like I thought it was funny when he's like, well, you don't have a rose, but I would have taken that pendant. And he was just like, no. That was a funny little moment.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Andrew's gone. Seventh placer. He joins a great club. He mentioned he knew the seventh place club,
He said
which is
him
kind of
so
crazy.
fast, and I was like,
That was wild.
yeah.
Um, So he is out, and we are going into the final six. And then, here we go. We were talking before we started recording, Scott, about, the CrossFit, getting out there, doing the, unconventional moves or whatever exercises. And here we are with a little bit of a static movement here, but tarps are off for the boys. We are going into the sun. We're doing the medicine ball,
Guns out,
and
guns out.
yeah, here we go.
Top to
Like.
top, baby. When it like no warning, it just like cut and it was just like shirtless Sam and then shirtless. I was like, whoa.
And I think it worked for them because they are the last two standing. A big effort from Antoinette. The other two, I think, other three were out pretty early. But here's where we have the first two out, Molly and Reynolds, are discussing the trade.
Mhm.
And if somebody knows that something else, you can comment and correct us because I'd love to know. I believe Reynolds makes this trade and does not it's not revealed to Molly that she's getting what she's getting. I think she thought she was getting a full pendant and gives up the other half to him. I could be wrong, but what do you think of this?
It makes sense to me. Do you think Reynolds threw the challenge too? Like once he saw Molly go down, do you think he was like, I need to go talk to her right now alone?
I also think that that's what happened, yeah, which is crazy.
That makes sense to me as well. 'Cause
Um,
at this point, you got to take risks like that if you're Reynolds. He's obviously no one's keeping him. He's like, I got to get safety. I don't need to win this to get safety. I need to go tell Molly to give me something.
but you could also win safety. You could get why not both? That's what I say.
Yeah, that's true. But if you know you're not going to win, maybe he just knew that that wasn't his challenge. But I also think
Yeah,
that I mean, as fun as it is to like trick someone in this moment, it doesn't bode well for the future rounds if that's really what happened. So maybe we'll see like next episode, Molly's like, yeah, yeah, you like completely lied to me and tricked me into an like a uh advantage that I didn't know what it was exactly. Obviously, she used it to save Antoinette, and Antoinette didn't get any votes, but Molly survived the vote because of her social game. But I feel like that could come back to kind of bite Reynolds if he's like going to her and be like I worked with you last time. She's like, yeah, by lying to me. Like, so I could see it not. I think in the moment it was a great move for this round, but maybe long term it might not be so great.
yeah. The only reason why I say that is because I think she says at some point in the episode, I didn't really read what it was. I think she says that to somebody. I could be wrong. So please, somebody comment. Tell me what happened. It's probably in.
Oh, I think that that moment was when Reynolds came in and was like, I'm safe. And
Oh yeah, yeah,
Antoinette
yeah,
goes, T. And she goes, it's just a reveal of vote power. And Antoinette goes, no, I read that it said pendant.
yeah.
He must have
Okay.
like blocked pendant and it's like a protection under his finger.
Savvy move. That's a veteran move. So.
Hmm.
So we'll see how this move pans out for him. But we'll get some clarification, I'm sure, on one of the episodes of Descendants. Which, speaking of, you can watch that. We had the first one up from 2 weeks ago, and this next one's coming out either today or tomorrow. So take a look. Um, okay, so we have the battle between Sam and Maddie in the competition, and Sam takes it home.
Hmm.
And basically, they're kind of just going back to back and exchanging co-captains.
Yeah.
You think this is smart? Yeah.
I think it's smart for Maddie because Maddie feels pretty set up socially, and Sam's sort of relying on these challenge wins because I think that he'd be getting targeted if he hadn't. And I think it's really smart for Maddie to keep his alliance with the girls and keep his like horse in the race, Sam, who's if he can't win, Sam's protecting him at this point. I think that what we're sort of getting from Sam is that he's a little naive to some of the social dynamics. We all season long we've gotten, and I'm curious to find out if Sam knew how much Andrew was going against him. Like if he's like watching this back and be like, "Damn, Andrew was really trying to get me out," and I did because all of Sam's confessionals are like, Andrew's my number one, and now I'm working with Maddie. So I think that he's a little naive to these people are kind of using him a bit to get ahead because of his prowess. And if he's winning, he's going to protect me. And I think it's really smart for Maddie to play that. But I don't really think that Sam's seeing that in the same way that Maddie is.
Yeah. My question is, do you think the other players are seeing that? Do you think that the other players are seeing Maddie is, protecting Sam, and Sam's kind of unaware of a lot of what's going on socially? And does
Mhm.
that flip the pendulum to who's the more threatening player?
At this point, I don't think it matters. It sort of feels like the Maddie, Antoinette, and Molly trio are really running the votes. And because Sam's so locked in with Maddie at this point, I think Sam just needs a friend. And he thought he had an Andrew. that fell through. Now he's like, I've been building up this relation. I think that he's like really proud of his game for building up this relationship with Maddie. And I don't think it's a false relationship. Like I think that they did come back together, but I think that Maddie's more game savvy to realize how beneficial this relationship is for his game. And so I think Sam's looking at it as like, okay, I have my friend, I won a number one, I have him in the game. Me and Maddie till the end. It'll be a nice little like social threat versus physical threat. Like, what is the jury going to respect more? I think that that's kind of the mindset that he's probably looking at. And I think that he's wrong. I think that, that they're going to reward Maddie with this because Maddie's riding him to the end. And I think that the girls can see it, but the girls know the truth. It's like, okay, Maddie's actually with us. And if it comes to the final four and Sam wins, we'll stick together.
Yeah.
One of us will still make it and we can tie the vote and give ourselves a chance to make it. But I think they're pretty locked in. And Reynolds being the last person left, I think that they all have been, I mean, they want Reynolds out, but they just haven't had the opportunity for a few rounds.
Yeah. But speaking of everybody in the game at this point, we haven't mentioned Monty, and this is Monty's ultimate demise here.
Mhm.
There is a couple plans that were put into place. Monty is pitching kind of a 2-2-2 split. It does end up going 2-2-2, just not the way he wanted it to go.
Mhm.
Um, and was there anything that you thought, do you think this was the best route for Monty, or do you think there was any other route for him to get out of this kind of mess? Because let's break it down. There's two safe captain, co-captain, Maddie, and Sam. The pendant of Protector is being played on Antoinette. Everybody's aware of this. And then we have the pendant of Reynolds, which is expiring at this round, so he's gonna play it
Mhm.
probably on himself. There's the bluff of playing it on Monty, but I don't think he was
Yeah.
even contemplating that.
I think, well, first of all, not to go back to Sam, but Sam trying to convince everyone that he thinks Reynolds is not going to play it. It's like,
Yeah,
Sam, sweetie.
yeah,
Reynolds is playing it on himself. But I think I don't really know if there was a way for Monty to get out of this. I feel like I know that on like other game shows there they have like you're like in a corn maze and you have to answer questions like left is the correct answer, right is the wrong answer, and you like keep going through it. So we'll say like in this game, like it seemed like Monty made a wrong he made the wrong move rounds ago, and after he made that wrong move, it was all going to be dead ends because I just don't really know if he had a path. I think that
yeah,
a lot of the allegiances that had been made were not including him, and he just couldn't really get in there. I think his best bet would have been if Maddie had gone in the Lee vote, but he wasn't even voting then. But I think that if Lee was still in the game, then he had just more ties to get in there because it would have broken up so much of the game a little bit more, I think. And I think that if Lee was in, I think maybe Andrew and Lee go after each other. Maybe Andrew pulls it out because I think Monty would have been with Andrew, so it would have kind of went that way a little bit more. So Maddie going before Lee, I think that's a path that Monty could have had, but because I just think that every allegiance that he had left was leading to a dead end, and with all the
yeah,
powers that were not in his favor.
yeah. I mean, he did find a bunch of powers, so they were just like not.
They were like
Uh,
little dud powers, though. They nothing
yeah,
like too game changing that he could have
yeah.
used. Was he the one that did the reveal of it?
I believe that was Reynolds,
Okay.
um, which showed one of the block or steal votes that I think Monty had played on Sam.
Hmm.
Um, but is what it is. Talking about Monty's trajectory, I think that whatever round that Jack went, where we were discussing why did those four turn on Jack
Yeah,
immediately after they had worked together, I think that was
that was the one.
probably yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right.
because that was between Jack and Maddie. I think they were discussing it. They were like, he's tired, he can't do the competitions. Jack's pumped up,
Hmm.
keep Maddie in the game, and
No,
probably yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. I think we even said that in ours. We were like, this is the round that people are gonna look back on and be like, I should have did something different there.
Yeah.
We didn't know at the
Maddie, I
time, but I
mean,
think it was smart.
Maddie's the player where he's the cat with nine lives, man. He
The,
keeps,
well, I was gonna say the cockroach, but cat with nine lives is better.
so Monty leaves here that there's a 2-2-2, and then they all vote. They go and vote him out on the revotes. So we see Monty leave, and I thought this was a fun exit. This was a nice, fun
Well, before we get to that, I did want
exit.
to say too, what would you, in my mind, I'm Matt or Sam. Do we take a risk and make it a tie vote where Molly or excuse me, Antoinette and Reynolds are no longer safe and they need to draw? If Reynolds is who we want to get out, do we take that risk?
So then it would come down to the four of them, right? Or would it
They
be
said
just
they said so typically it's the six. Co-captain and captain are safe, and then oh wait, six.
yeah,
Captain
you're
and
all seven.
co-captain. We're all seven, yeah. Co-captain and captain were safe, and then the two people that got these two people were like advantages were played on, and then these two got votes. So they said that the people that got votes and the people that got advantages played on them would then be eligible for elimination, and then the captain co-captain would be safe, and then these four would draw a rock.
Okay.
So I was
So
like maybe
that's posed towards Maddie and Sam, you're saying. You're
yeah.
asking.
If I'm Maddie, do I go to Sam and be like, do we risk it so Reynolds has to draw a rock and see if we can get him out? He's a
That's a
bigger
good point.
challenge set than Monty. Do
I
we
don't
risk?
because the thing is I don't think they're aware of this rule going into this tie. So it's like
Well, it's in the revote, and
yeah, I'm just saying they probably didn't
Papa.
discuss that before.
Well, yeah, I would have had to have been spared the moment, but it was just something that I was thinking about.
It could be, yeah, the drama could have been
You
there.
know me personally. I love a last minute little like I'm like, Duke, we have to switch our votes. Let's just
You
do it
know
and see what
that.
happens. We're fine.
That would have been
Like,
interesting.
but yes, I was thinking that that would have been interesting. But the Monty exit,
Yes,
even
I mean that's the kind I mean polar opposite exits on on this episode. We have, the lovey-dovey one and then we have the you are fake one, basically. You're fake and I don't want to vote for you. And I'm going to vote
Mhm.
for these people. And he's airing out the dirty laundry.
Yeah. What is it? The I think it's on Seinfeld the day before Christmas Eve. You know, I'm talking about the something grievances or
They have grievances.
the day of grievances. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I'm looking it up. You keep
What
going
is
now. But it's
what happens on the day of grievances if that's what it's called? You just air out
you
everything?
just one time one time my roommate me and my we had a roommate four roommates. Me and my roommate were working together and our other roommate just sent us these text messages and like mine was like you sing the same four songs in the shower every day. I was just like why did he send me that? And my friend was like, he was like, you never clean up your dishes or like something like that. And he was like, he just sent me something weird too. And I was just like, what's going on? And he was like, oh, it's the day of grievances or something like that.
Oh, is it like supposed to soften like because it's
It's
the
like things
holiday
you've been holding
season?
on to Festivus.
The Festivus for the rest of us?
Yes, Festivus is a secular holiday created by Frank Costanza in the iconic episode The Strike as an anti-commercial alternative to Christmas, airing of grievances.
I did. I've heard of Festivus for the rest of us all the time because I know that's Seinfeld, but I didn't know that that's what it was. So,
Yeah. So this
damn,
was this.
I'm learning something new every podcast, man.
That's what I'm here for. And sometimes they're correct and sometimes they're not.
And if it's wrong, Scott, you'll be in the Discord and you'll let us know what's
I'll
wrong.
let you know. Yes. But no, I looked it up now, so we know it's right. December 23rd was the date that Monty got voted off in spirit. Perfect for the Christmas decorations that we have out.
Yeah,
Full
great
circle right
timing.
now.
Great timing. The holiday season's coming up and we have this exit. Um, did you like this? Did you think this was accurate, some of the stuff that he was saying? Were you like, I resonate with that? I like that he's, letting him have it on his way out.
I know that it's a big discussion in the Survivor realm is like bring back hot people on Survivor and bring back mean people on Survivor, like mean exits, like the
Yeah.
not the lovey ones. I loved it. You know I loved it. I
Yeah, I
love a
mean,
little
we had
conflict and
Survivor, the past week we had, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had
yeah.
Sage with the
Hmm.
I'm not going to hug you right now because it would be inauthentic. I'll give you
Yeah.
a handshake. This was a little bit more though. I feel like this was a
Oh
little
yeah, yeah.
more.
I think, and then to the point of, do I agree with it? Someone being fake, someone's like, just because you're fake to someone doesn't make you a fake person. It's like you insult the action, not the person. But he went right for the person. But I don't think that. I mean, I can't say that I disagreed. Like Maddie was running around only talking to the people that he was going to take the end, and I feel like he was kind of leading Monty astray. Monty was on the ground moving the pictures around, like talking it through with all these people, and they're like, I'm open to it, like I'm hearing it out, and like da da da, and then the second he leaves, they're like, no, that's fake.
Yeah.
So ah, my ring light just fell. But yeah. So he also attacked Molly, which Molly's tears I don't think were fake. I think that those are
Yeah.
real tears.
Yeah.
Molly's just an emotional girl.
Yeah, what can you say? But here's the thing is like, do you think that, I mean, obviously we know that Monty feels the type of way about people being fake and just kind of lying. Why wouldn't you just tell Monty what's happening? At this point, he's drawing dead. Just tell him. Like, we know where all the advantages are. We know who's safe. I'm safe. If I'm Matt, I'm talking if I'm Maddie. Just be
Hmm.
like, listen, man, no this isn't gonna, I'm not gonna lead you on here until the actual vote. He does it at the very end. He's like, during the revote, he's like, I've been with Molly longer, but it's like, why would
Hmm.
you lead Monty up on all this time? Just be like, no, I'm voting you out.
Has Maddie made it to the end of a game?
I
Does
have
he
no
not
idea.
make it? Yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't
have
know
no
the
idea.
Discord because I know that for me, like in games, the first time I ever made it to the final travel, I at like around this time, I voted someone off and I didn't tell them, but I was just like so paranoid that they did have something that I didn't know about. And we've seen that like Andrew's popping up with half a pendant. Monty used like 800 powers that no one ever knew about. So I
Yeah,
think it might have just been paranoia on Maddie's part. Like we obviously know that they knew where all the powers were, but that doesn't mean that they actually did.
but
You
here's
know what
the
I mean?
thing.
Like someone
But
might have had
here,
one.
the thing is, Maddie's safe. Like he's not going
Oh,
anywhere.
true.
So it's like he just,
That's
I
just to
mean,
save Molly.
he was just like, I feel like he's outside, he's smoking a cig, he's just trying to, you know, get the edge off or whatever. I just feel like he was like,
Well, it's still the same day where he's
yeah,
he's smoking a
it's been a
cig. He's
long ass
walking
day
around with
for him.
his Coke. I like notice he's like playing with his Diet Coke all the times. I'm like, this man needs he needs to be he needs to get sent to bed. He's just like, can we just fucking get this day over with? So
Yeah,
that's probably what it is. Sleep deprivation is
yeah,
never that advantageous in a game like this or in general.
yeah, it's tough, it's tough. So we see Monty go another a fun exit. So he gave us that. He joins the sixth place club. Um, he doesn't know everybody that's in the sixth place club like Andrew, but who would know that, you know? Who would know that?
Not me.
Not you. Probably Andrew though. And
Andrew
so
probably, yeah. As soon as he made it to the treehouse, Andrew had already set his phone up with the group chat.
so the jury is getting bigger and there's going to be two more people added to this jury. We are the final five and basically you have to get through final five and then you have multiple chances to get to the final three, which is huge.
Mhm.
So who do you think's in a good spot? Who do you think is in immediate danger if they're vulnerable in this next vote?
I think Reynolds,
Yeah.
which is such a turn from. I mean, we saw three eliminations, but last time I was like, I feel like Reynolds has got it. His game just took a turn, not for the best.
Yeah.
Not much I feel like he could have done about the Lee vote either, but he went from like my number one to my number one to be the next one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking great, and I think that it's just because like Maddie is so central in this, and Reynolds is the farthest removed from him. Like he's so integrated into what's going on, and yeah, I don't. I think Maddie's sitting in the best position to win. The only thing that I'm thinking is at Final Four, I do think that Sam would be able to pull it out because it's multiple chances to win. And Sam has proven to be seemingly the best competitor out of everyone. And
Yeah.
so I think that this game is going to come down to whether or not Maddie has lured Sam into voting, keeping him in to go to the finals with him. Because I think it's Maddie's game to lose. If he gets to the finals, I think Maddie wins. Like, against really anyone except for Reynolds. But I think I don't know because I feel like Sam's reads are not. For me, it's a lot of the times I'm like, oh, this is obvious, and then Sam's like in the confessional saying the complete opposite of what I'm thinking. I'm just like, ugh. So in my mind, I feel like it makes sense. It's so obvious to me that Sam should cut Maddie at four because I think that that would be an excellent final three, like a very comparable. Like all three of them would have stand a good chance of winning if it's Sam, Molly, and Antoinette. I feel like all of them would have a case to compare, like that they all played such vastly different games. So I think that that would be an interesting final three. But I think that I would pick Molly to win out of those three. So I think I think Maddie's my front runner, and second to that would be Molly,
Do
unless
you th-
Reynolds goes on a wins.
do you think that all three of um all three of Maddie, Reynolds, and Sam are thinking the same thing and going to the end with the girls?
Mm,
Like cut
I
whoever doesn't win here at
I
five and then try to win and take the girls.
not necessarily. I think that right now it's just Reynolds v Maddie. So I think fifth place is going to be one of those two. If
Okay.
Reynolds wins, if anyone but Reynolds wins, I think they take Reynolds out. If Reynolds wins, I think he targets Maddie, and I think I don't know
Do
because
you
I
think
feel like
that's the right move though for that person in that moment?
I think that they need to. I think that
Because then it's probably win to get in
at the four,
at four. But you have
I
multiple
I
chances.
think that that is what it's going to be anyway. I think that Reynolds or I think Reynolds gets the end, he wins. After that, Maddie gets the end, he wins. So if I'm the other three, those two need to be fifth and fourth.
Okay.
I don't. I think Reynolds is at this point just like I'll go to the end with whoever will take me there. And I think for Sam, I don't think I think Sam's kind of in the same boat as well. And
Yeah.
for the girls, I feel like they're sticking together because if they get through this one vote, they have two votes going in. So
Yeah. If you were to put your money on, like, if you were, say, you're maybe doing a little gambling and you're going to put some money on a winner at this point, who are you putting your money on?
I think I gotta go Maddie.
You're going to go Maddie?
Hmm.
Okay.
That's
Well,
who I think.
we will see. I think we only have two episodes left at this point, and I think they're both next week. I think we're doing a Thursday episode and then a Sunday episode. So the
Hmm.
next time we speak, Scott, I
We might
think
have a winner.
I think we're going to be recapping the whole season and a winner.
Oh man, maybe we can get one in this weekend before the finale.
Maybe. I'm around, so.
Okay.
Um, but besides that, Scott, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
Not, I don't think so. I wish I had more thoughts. I feel like we've had a lot of thoughts.
We got a lot in. There was, multiple episodes to cover, but I'm excited to see who ends up winning this sixth season and how they get there from here. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting.
It always is.